We live in a celebrity-driven culture. Those of us who were rooting for the New England Patriots in last evening's Super Bowl certainly are quite disappointed this morning. We've been hearing not only Giants and Patriots fans, but many throughout and across the country in these past 2 weeks, the run-up to yesterday's Super Bowl. And so there's been lots of attention on Tom Brady, all the details of his life. I'm sure Eli Manning as well, for those in the New York area. The various Patriots players, Wes Welker and, will Gronkowski play, and so on. All sorts of conversation about the halftime show. And of course, the day after now, we hear all of the evaluations of the various commercials and so on, what went well and what did not. All of which feeds into this celebrity-driven culture. People flock to celebrities. The saints are our celebrities, if you will, from a Catholic spiritual perspective. But unlike the celebrities of this world, the saints did not spend their lives drawing attention on themselves, but rather pointing the way to God, pointing the way to Jesus Christ. Today we celebrate the feast of the Nagasaki martyrs, Saint Paul Miki, who was a native Japanese Jesuit, and his Jesuit companions who brought the Catholic faith in the 16th century to Japan, and initially were received with great enthusiasm. But over time, the emperor saw this Catholic faith as a threat to his power. He ordered the execution, the crucifixion of these 26 missionary men, as they were forced to travel 600 miles to the place of their execution. Paul and his companions sang hymns to God. As Paul hung upon the cross, he preached his sermon, if you will, exhorting all government leaders and all within the sound of his voice to accept the Christian faith. In the 19th century, when Jesuit missionaries returned to Japan, they found that this Catholic faith had not been stamped out, but that there had been a small, secret Catholic community, descendants of Paul Miki and his companions, who had kept the faith and handed on the Catholic faith. And so Paul Miki was not forgotten at all, but he and his companions become a shining example to this day of courage and conviction. My friends, you and I are called in the same way, in our concrete circumstances, to live out the faith. People should know that we are Catholics. We strive to draw attention not to ourselves, but to Jesus. And so then people should know that we are Catholics by the choices we make, by the witness of our lives, how we strive to live out the faith in our places of work, in our neighborhoods, in our families, by the example we strive to set for our children and for our grandchildren. People should know that we are Catholic by the manner in which we stand up for the teachings of the church when our church or the values of our church are threatened. Here in the state of Massachusetts, in all likelihood, in November, there will be a ballot initiative for physician-assisted suicide. We as Catholics need to stand up and speak out in defense of those most vulnerable in our society, those at the end of their natural lives, those suffering with depression. We must speak out against this terrible bill. Our president has recently enacted a law to be implemented in 1 year through the Health and Human Services Division that will force Catholic hospitals and charitable institutions to provide birth control and abortifacient coverage in their health insurance plans. This is an affront to religious liberty. As Catholics, we must speak out against this bill and for the value of freedom of religion on which our country was founded. You see, people should know that we are Catholics because of the courage and the conviction by which we live out our faith. We point the way, my friends, not to ourselves, but to Jesus. We take upon ourselves that wonderful motto of the Jesuits, Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam. We do all for the greater glory of God.